Good morning. According to the CDC, the National Center for Health Statistics reported in 2018 that 73.6% of adults were overweight. As students, we are juggling school, work, and home life, and oftentimes it's easier just to pull through that drive-through than to go home and prepare a healthy dinner. Lousy food choices, lack of exercise, lack of sleep, and stress all contribute to weight gain. Early on in the pandemic, I found myself stuck at home like many of you and discovered that I was gaining weight, probably due to the fact that I was in my kitchen all the time. I decided to give keto a try and found that I lost the weight relatively quickly. The ketogenic diet is a fantastic short term solution for weight loss before transitioning to a more balanced approach for your long term goals. First, I would like to define and describe keto diet before looking at the short term and long term negative consequences. Then we'll look at the positive impacts of keto diet. And finally, we'll take a look at the scientific findings behind the keto diet and discover why it really is a great solution for short term weight loss. According to Randy Maurer, human performance researcher, who published an article in October of 2020, The Ketogenic Diet, a detailed beginner's guide to keto, he explained that the keto diet is part high fat and part low carb. 70% of your intake is going to come from fats, such as butter, cream, cheese, nuts, and oil. Another 20% will come from protein, mainly your meats and seafood and lots of eggs. And finally, the last 10% will come from low carb vegetables and fruits. Vegetables include leafy green vegetables, tomatoes, onions, and peppers. With the fruits, you really want to stick to the berry varieties such as strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and such. You definitely will be giving up the high sugar sodas and definitely no sweets allowed. You will have to give up pasta and rice and any type of grain or cereal, and you'll have to give up alcohol for a temporary period of time because unfortunately alcohol tends to be high in carbs. According to Harvard Health, the Harvard Medical School published an article in August 2020 titled, Should You Try Keto? And they described that instead of our body deriving its energy from the glucose or sugar that it normally does from the carbs, then now the liver is going to produce ketone bodies, and that is where we're going to derive our energy from. The key is that the liver is going to produce these ketone bodies directly from fat cells, which explains why with keto you're going to see more weight loss quicker and more fat loss specifically rather than traditional dieting. Also, it's good to know that within just 2 to 4 days of beginning the keto diet, your liver is already producing those ketone bodies. So it is actually relatively a pretty fast process. Now that we've talked about what the keto diet is, let's take a look at short-term and long-term negative consequences of keto. According to Amanda McMillan, researcher in health sciences, who published a December 2020 article, 7 Dangers of Going Keto. In the short term, you're probably going to experience the keto flu that usually happens in the first week and is temporary and is short-lived. You might also experience hypoglycemia or low blood sugar simply because our body is not used to having such a low sugar, low carb intake. Long term is a bit more serious. You could experience vitamin and mineral deficiencies due to the high protein intake. You might experience kidney stones, and due to the high fat intake, you are at an increased risk of heart disease. Now that we've talked about the short-term and long-term negative impacts, let's take a look at some positive impacts of keto. According to Chris Gunner, nutritionist and founder of Authority Nutrition, who published an article in November 2018, The 10 Health Benefits of Low-Carb and Ketogenic Diets. First off, a reduced appetite because the protein and fat are going to make you feel like you are full. Second of all, you're going to see results quicker, which is going to lead you to want to keep going. You're also going to see lower levels of triglycerides. You're going to have lower blood pressure, and you're also going to have a reduction in visceral fat, which is the fat surrounding your organs. So these are all excellent reasons to try keto. Now that we've talked about positive impacts of keto, let's talk about what science says. According to Dr. Huan Zhu and colleagues from the CDC, who published an article in January 2020 titled Ketogenic Diet for Human Diseases, as far as rapid weight loss occurs, he explains that likely the average will see up to about 10 pounds in about 2 weeks, and significantly more depending on how much weight you have to lose. Also, he argues the point that it really is great for short-term use because the maximum potential fat loss occurs within the first 21 days. At about the 3 to 6 month mark, then it's going to be negligible compared to other traditional diets. Currently, keto diet is a prescription given to epilepsy patients as well as type 2 diabetes patients. Dr. Alexandra Johnstone and colleagues reported in January 2008 in The Effects of a High-Protein Ketogenic Diet on Hunger, Appetite, and Weight Loss. They reported the statistical findings. For hunger, they compared the keto diet to a traditional diet and found that a p-value of 0.0014 applied when showing that keto definitely experienced less hunger than traditional diets. 0.014 is a significant p-value. Also, as far as weight loss, the p-value found was 0.006, and for any of you who have never had statistics, just know that that is a significant statistical finding, meaning that you are going to experience much more weight loss in the short term from the keto diet than more traditional diets. I've described the keto diet in detail. We have talked about the short and long-term negative impacts of keto. We've talked about positive impacts, and we've talked about the science behind keto. As a result, 73.6% of adults are overweight. I personally believe that the short-term benefits outweigh the risks, and committing to the keto diet for just 21 days, even up to that 3 to 6 month period, is really a very low cost when you compare the incredible benefits that you're going to get for short-term weight loss before transitioning to a long-term maintenance program. Thank you very much.